The Zodiac Killer is a name that sends chills down the spines of true crime enthusiasts and historians alike. Operating in Northern California during the late 1960s and early 1970s, this unidentified killer taunted law enforcement and the media with cryptic letters, bizarre ciphers, and gruesome murders. His ability to evade capture for decades has made him one of the most infamous and mysterious figures in American history. In this episode, we'll delve deep into the story of the Zodiac Killer, examining the crimes, the chilling letters, the investigation, the suspects, and the legacy of a case that continues to haunt us today. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer. Our story begins on December 20th, 1968, near Vallejo, California. On a quiet stretch of Lake Herman Road, high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday parked their car for a date night. It was a popular spot for young couples, but on this night it became the scene of a horrific double murder. Sometime after 11 p.m., an unknown assailant approached their vehicle. Using a .22 caliber handgun, the killer shot David in the head at close range. Betty Lou tried to escape but was shot multiple times as she ran. Both teens died at the scene, leaving police with few clues. This crime shocked the small community, but it was initially viewed as an isolated incident. That perception changed just 7 months later, on July 4th, 1969, when the killer struck again. Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau were parked at Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo. Around midnight, a man approached their car, shined a flashlight into the vehicle, and began shooting. Darlene was killed instantly, but Michael survived despite being shot in the face, neck, and chest. Michael later described the attacker as a white male, approximately 5 feet 8 inches to 6 feet tall, with short, curly hair. Police linked this attack to the Lake Herman Road murders through ballistics, but they had no suspects. Then the killer made contact. On July 31st, 1969, 3 newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, the Vallejo Times-Herald, and the San Francisco Examiner, received identical letters. Each letter began with the chilling phrase, "This is the Zodiac speaking." The killer claimed responsibility for both double murders and included details that only the perpetrator would know. But he didn't stop there. Each letter contained 1/3 of a cryptogram, a coded message that the Zodiac claimed would reveal his identity. He demanded that the papers publish the ciphers on their front pages, or he would kill again. The cryptogram, known as the Zodiac 408 cipher, was solved within days by Donald and Betty Hardin, a schoolteacher and his wife. The message read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than hunting wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all." But there was no name. The Zodiac had lied. Or perhaps he was toying with everyone. Over the next several years, the Zodiac continued to send letters to newspapers. Each letter was filled with taunts, cryptic symbols, and strange claims. He often mocked law enforcement for failing to catch him and hinted at more killings. Some letters contained additional ciphers, but many remain unsolved to this day. On September 27th, 1969, the Zodiac Killer carried out one of his most disturbing and personal attacks. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were enjoying a picnic by Lake Berryessa when a man approached them wearing an executioner-style hood and a symbol of a cross inside a circle on his chest. The man carried a gun and a knife. He tied up Brian and Cecilia, then stabbed them repeatedly. Brian survived the attack, but Cecilia succumbed to her injuries 2 days later. After the assault, the Zodiac called the police from a nearby payphone to report the crime. He described the scene in chilling detail, signing off with his usual phrase, "This is the Zodiac speaking." The Lake Berryessa attack was unlike the Zodiac's previous crimes. It was up close and personal, with a costume that added a theatrical and terrifying element to his persona. This was no longer just a killer. This was someone who wanted to be remembered. On October 11, 1969, the Zodiac struck again, this time in San Francisco. Paul Stein, a cab driver, picked up a fare in the upscale Presidio Heights neighborhood. At some point during the ride, the passenger shot Stein in the head, killing him instantly. The killer then stole a piece of Stein's shirt and fled the scene. Initially, police believed this was a routine robbery, but the Zodiac took credit in a letter sent to the San Francisco Chronicle. Enclosed with the letter was a piece of Stein's bloody shirt as proof. This marked the Zodiac's last confirmed murder, but his letters didn't stop. He claimed responsibility for as many as 37 murders, though investigators could only verify 5. The Stein murder also marked a shift in his methods as he moved from targeting couples in secluded areas to killing in a busy city. The Zodiac case became one of the largest investigations in U.S. history. Law enforcement agencies across California worked tirelessly to identify the killer. Over 2,500 suspects were investigated, but no one was ever charged. One of the most prominent suspects was Arthur Leigh Allen. Allen was a Vallejo resident with a history of violent behavior. He owned a Zodiac brand watch, which featured the killer's signature symbol and was identified by a survivor as resembling the attacker. However, there was no physical evidence linking Allen to the crimes, and he died in 1992 without being charged. Other suspects have included a man known as Mr. X, whose identity remains speculative, and various individuals linked through circumstantial evidence or witness reports. Advances in forensic science, such as DNA analysis, have yet to definitively identify the killer. The Zodiac Killer has left an indelible mark on American culture. His cryptic messages, gruesome crimes, and ability to evade capture have inspired countless books, movies, and documentaries. In recent years, amateur sleuths and online communities have continued to investigate the case, uncovering new clues and theories. The 2020 decryption of the Zodiac's 340 cipher reignited public interest, though it revealed little about his identity. The Zodiac remains a symbol of terror, mystery, and the fragility of justice. His case is a haunting reminder that even the most infamous criminals can slip through the cracks. The Zodiac Killer case remains unsolved, and the questions linger. Who was he? Why did he stop? And will we ever uncover the truth? While the answers may never come, the story of the Zodiac Killer continues to captivate and horrify. It's a tale of tragedy, mystery, and a relentless search for justice that has spanned more than 5 decades. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into one of the darkest chapters of American true crime. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of history, mystery, and the human condition.